Okay, guys, we are going to go ahead and take a look at solving a quadratic equation by completing the square when your a term is not 1. So here, if I look at this quadratic, I've got 2x squared minus 20x plus 18 equals 0. It's a quadratic equation, and in this case, my a term is 2, my b term is negative 20, and my c term is 18. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I need to make that a term 1 by dividing everything in the equation by the a term, which in this case is 2. So the first thing you're going to do is divide everything in the equation by the a term. Okay, so my a term in this case is 2, so I'm going to divide everything by 2. I'm going to divide that by 2, that by 2, that by 2, and that by 2. Okay, so once I've divided everything in the equation by 2, that's going to give me x squared minus 10x plus 9 equals 0, because remember, 0 divided by anything is still 0. Okay, I mean, now I could look and see if I have a perfect square trinomial. It's true that if I take the square root of x squared, I get x. If I take the square root of 9, I get 3. But if I double that, I get 6x, not negative 10x. So this is not a perfect square trinomial. So now you're just going to finish the process that you normally would of solving by completing the square. So we're going to remove that 9, move it over here. And now I got x squared minus 10x equals negative 9. And then I'm going to do my b over 2 squared to find the term that completes my squared. Okay? So if I do the b over 2 squared, I'm going to have negative 10 divided by 2 squared, which is negative 5 squared, which is going to give me 25. That's what I'm going to add to both sides. So I'm going to have x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals negative 9 plus 25. Remember, you add that term that completes your square to both sides of the equation. All right? So I'm going to continue looking at simplifying this. I've got x squared minus 10x plus 25. That's going to equal 16. Okay? So x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals 16. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and factor my perfect square trinomial, take the square root of that, take the square root of that, and then use whatever sign is in the middle. So I'm going to have x, and that's going to be minus 5 squared. X minus 5 squared equals 16. And then to finish solving this, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So I'm going to have x minus 5 equals, remember, plus or minus 4. So x minus 5 equals 4, or x minus 5 equals negative 4. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides here. So I got x equals 9. If I add 5 to both sides over here, I'm going to get or x equals 1. Okay, guys? So remember, all you've got to do whenever your a term is not 1 is just remember to divide everything in the equation by the a term. Once you've done that, see if it's a perfect square trinomial. If it's not, then go through the process of completing your square. Then you're going to factor your square, your perfect square trinomial, and then you're going to solve it like we did those others. And if you need to look at those videos from the other day, go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and do another example on the next slide.